Hi there, I'm Tom from neowin.net and today we'll be reviewing Opera 11.10. Um, this version was released today and so we thought we'd give it a whirl. It's been cleanly installed right now, so when you install it this is the page you'll receive. So as we can see already, speed dial 2.0, so the speed dial has been upgraded. Opera Turbo has been enhanced, a simple plug-in installation, and there is now support for CSS3 gradients, but we'll talk a bit more in depth about that a bit later. Okay, so the first thing you'll notice is the big change of the speed dial. Um, in my opinion, the speed dial is probably the biggest change in this version. They've done a lot of work to it, and it looks very nice. When they announced that they were changing the speed dial, I didn't really know what they would do to it, if I'm honest. There's not much they really could have done to it, but apparently they thought of a lot more features, a lot more cool stuff for it. So, what's new? Is, well, you'll probably be asking. Okay, so the first things first is I want NeoWin to be first. So using this nice little animation that they've done, I can now order all my stuff very easily. Well, easily than previously. Um, and we can now add any other site a lot easily without having to specify columns or any of that. So we'll put Bing. And after we've created this, it should give me a new window. Okay, so I don't want this anymore. I don't want this addition thing. I've got enough. So I'm going to turn this off, hide speed dial button, and using this we can also, using the configure option, we can zoom level. We can change zoom level. If you want manual or automatic, or by default it's on automatic. And then we can change columns. So if you have a large monitor, if you have a small monitor, perhaps. Not really sure why people would need two columns, but if that's what you want, you know. Um, so I'm gonna stick with 4, I think. And obviously you can do what you did before, and have your own background image. So I'm gonna keep this background image because this is what I had previously. So, a nice little trick that a staff member on NeoWin told me was if you don't like this logo business that it does, where it displays the logo and not the actual page, if you go to reload every, go to custom, put in 2 seconds, and then it should reload after 2 seconds. Then it should give you the page, and then if you go back to reload every, and then click never, then you'll no longer have the logo and you'll have the page. So I think that's quite a cool thing. You can also, there's a lot more stuff built into the speed dial, which I don't really have a lot of time to go over. I have a lot of stuff to cover, so I can't talk about every detailed feature here. So if you do want to know all the details, I will put a link in the description that gives you a link to the changelog. I'm not sure if I mentioned that already. But yeah. Okay, so secondly, what I mentioned a little bit before about was the partial support for the CS3 gradients. It is partial support again. This is a site I had problem with in the previous version of Opera. This part here, the under the men, women, vote, forum, etc. part, that didn't load properly. It was literally just white. I can't highlight it, but this part in the previous version of Opera doesn't load because it's a CSS3 gradient. So there was a lot of problems with that. In this version it seems to be working, so we can see obviously Opera has added support. There's also added HTML5 support, Again, that information is in the description. And improved power usage. There was a article about a week ago about power usage, and Opera didn't do that well. So it seems that they've seen that and they've improved their power usage upon that. So, you know, well done. This is the first Opera version that was given a code name, and the code name they gave it was Barracuda. So, this is the desktop page. If you want to download it, just go to opera.com, and there we go. Now, this is a video about the Opera Turbo, which they've improved also. And obviously you can download it here. So I say they've upgraded the Opera Turbo. What have they done really? Well, what they've done is added support for Google WebP image format, which basically means by adding support, it enhances Turbo's compression performance with images. So if we look quickly at the My Opera page, wherever it is, there is an article about this, and it will show you the big difference between the previous version and of Turbo and this version. But basically, what actually happened is, there we go. You can see the original. This is the old version of Turbo. So by looking at it here, it's quite clear that it is very, very bad quality. It also 9.2 KB. Well, the new version of Turbo, the image actually looks okay. It kind of just looks like a bad GIF image. Although we can make out kind of the image and what the original might look like. And the size is also a lot lower, 5.3 compared to 9.2, On a slower network, that could mean quite a lot. So they also gave you a few tests of what the old Turbo was and what the new Turbo was. So Turbo has been upgraded, and for anyone who uses it, good news. So yeah. I'll put the link in the description for this article again. All the links are in the description, as I've said previously. And so, next, what's next? They've added a few animations to the browser to really represent some of the features that weren't really being used, I guess. Not many people using them. I think maybe because some people didn't know how to use them. And so I think the animations kind of highlight them a bit more. So you can discover the features a lot easier. For any developers, I think Dragonfly has had a bad rep in the past. Not many people used it. Firebug is common for developers, and Dragonfly, I've seen Dragonfly get laughed at a few times. So I think Opera knew this and they've improved it with this version. They've been improving it for a while now, but in this version, however, you can look at the changelog, and it will tell you. Mail has also been upgraded, so mail is a prominent feature in Opera. Face support has been added. I don't have a mail account, unfortunately. I have a chat account, but not a mail account. But basically, what's happened in Mail is they've added phase searching support. They've improved CJK searches, and they've improved support for Gmail IMAP in Opera Mail. So overall, I think that's a big change, this version. I would recommend checking it out. It is running well. Its loading page is quite fast on a slow internet connection that I have. And overall, It's a big improvement over the previous version. Whether it's better than other browsers, Google Chrome, IE9, Firefox, if you are using IE9, well, I think it really depends on whether you're using the browser to use extensions, whether you're using the browser to load pages fast, whether you're using the browser just for casual browsing. I think IE9 it loads pages quite fast, not as fast as Opera, I'm afraid. So if you are using IE9, I probably push IE9 users to Opera. If you're using Chrome, uh, I've not seen the speed results of the browser compared to Chrome, the new version. So it's possible that Chrome is faster. It is a possibility. So if you're using Chrome, I'd probably recommend you to search that. Or if you're used to Chrome, you might as well stay with Chrome. Although if you're willing to check Opera out, go for it. Safari, if I'm honest, I don't like Safari. It's quite slow and doesn't have extensions, doesn't have a lot of features. So Safari, in my opinion, is not the best of browsers. Um, and Firefox. Firefox, if you're using the extensions for Firefox, then I'd stay with Firefox. If you're using it for casual browsing, then I'd probably push you to use Chrome or Opera. Because it's kind of pointless to use Firefox for casual browsing if you're not using any extensions. So that has been the review for Opera 11.10. You can see more information about Opera on the website and you can download it from opera.com. This has been Tom from neowin.net and thank you for listening to this review.